Hi there, it's Karen here from Turquoise Treasures. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be making this little thing. Wasn't what I was planning to do today at all. I was going to do some more, make some pockets for my boho journal. But then I caught a video by a lady from, her channel's called Septeria 18, her name's Sandy. Some of you may watch her videos. She makes lots of things, lots of really interesting things. And she made this double envelope folder, I think that's what she's called it, something like that. And I thought I just couldn't wait to have a go myself. So I did that this morning. I made this with my Tim Holtz wallflower paper pad, which I've been hoarding for ages, and I thought it's really time I started using some of it because the papers are so gorgeous. So I'll quickly show it to you and then we'll make one. Just because I fancied doing something different today. That's how it goes. Right, so I'm just undoing it. There's lots of different options for this, but this is made from a single 12 by 12 paper pad, although you can mix two together, which I have done on this one, which I'll explain as I go along. But you just need 12 by 12 paper, so I think she calls it a one sheet wonder, which obviously a lot of people make one sheet wonders. Right, so this has got a pocket here, which is gusseted. So there's lots of little goodies in there. I've just stuffed it with all sorts of bits and pieces that I've found. Things that I've made, things that I've got, little pieces of ephemera that I got out of a pack, I think, somewhere. So there's those little bits in there. And you can stuff loads in there. It's really quite a deep pocket. You could probably get more in. And it opens up like this. So that's the flap that goes down like that. Then there's another pocket here, and I've just put in a vintage postcard, one of my postcards in there. It looks really pretty poking out. And then you've got another pocket here, more little bits tucked in there. I've just added a little side tuck or corner tuck here. There's all sorts. I think she does another little sort of pocket. I think she does like a library pocket on hers. I've just done a corner pocket because that's what I fancy doing, and I'm going to do something different on the other one that I'm going to make, or the one that I'm actually going to make with you. And then on the back there's another quite deep pocket here, so I've just put a couple of larger tags. This is one of the tags from the Tracy Fox kit that I did when I very first came back from surgery, so I thought I'd pop that in there. And this is one I did on Rachel's weekly challenge. So I just thought I'd just raided my stash to see what would go in there, and it doesn't matter that they poke out the back, because it just makes it look more stuffed, and I think you could definitely get more in than that. And I've just used this sari silk as a closure, but there's all sorts of ways of doing a closure with this. I think there's any number of different ways you could do a policy closure, all sorts. Anyway, so that's that one. I'm going to keep that handy in case I need to refer to it. Because I only made this morning, it's the first time I've made it, so let's have a go. But because I wanted to do a different style, I'm going to use this Stamperia paper pad. Well, if I show it to you, that's how it starts. So it's a 12 by 12, and as you can see, you have to cut it in half. Now when Sandy made hers, because she wasn't using a directional paper, she just cut hers down the middle like that, because it didn't matter which way she cut it and which way she folded it. But because this one and actually this one as well are both directional, I had to think a bit more about it, and it actually works better to cut it across that way horizontally rather than vertically. It makes no difference, but it just means you can maintain the direction of whatever you've got on there. So I've got some writing, and there's a few other bits and pieces on here. So you take one piece of 12 by 12, cut it in half, and then you take one half, and I'm going to take the bottom half and cut that in half again. So you've got two pieces of 6 by 6. Now what I did with the Tim Holtz one, I used a full sheet to do my for my 6 by 12, but then I went to his other sheets where he's actually divided it into 6 by 6 papers and used 2 of those, because it all coordinates, and I just thought that way I could get a slightly different look. You get a bit of variety of look. Now actually, I think this is the wrong trimmer to use for this, because that doesn't go up to 6 inches. It's a bit annoying. Be really just a bit more useful if it did 6 inches, but never mind, I'll use this one. So cut this at 6. And then we have to do some scoring. And I've already pre-scored this piece just because if you've seen my earlier videos, I have this giant scoreboard that barely fits on my desk. So it's a bit of a struggle to get it on here. So I've just did it in advance so you can see it's been scored here. And then the idea is you turn, so you score it. What you want to do is score the top. So again, for Sandy it made no difference where she scored hers because it was all non-directional. But because this is directional, I've scored at the top because this is going to be the front flap as per this front flap. So that was the, that was the front of the paper as I saw it, but you don't really get to see any of that because it all goes inside the pocket and the flap folds over. So you've got to kind of decide which bit of your paper you want to be on display, and actually the bit I want to show is going to be this piece because it's the prettiest piece, and I'm going to use that in a minute, and that'll wrap around the front. You'll see what I mean in a moment. So I'm just going to use my bone folder, get hold of it, and just fold down that piece. Okay. And then the other thing you need to do with this, once you've done the long score, you need to do a 6-inch score down the middle. So I can use my little board for that. Now what's happened to my scoring tool? It's fallen out. It fell out of the holder. Right, doesn't really matter which way, but because it's going to be folded in half, so that's why you need to just score it at 6 inches. Oops. Line it up. Push it in properly this time. And then you want to, you can fold it either way, but I'm going to have this on the outside and then the green will be on the inside. So it's best to use double-sided paper for this. Don't have to, of course, but it's nice because then you get the contrast. And then the final thing to do on this piece is to cut this up the middle where the score line is up to the other score line. Oh, and this is scored, sorry I should have said, this is scored at, let me just check, 1 3/4 inches. So the long score is 1 3/4 inches, and then the score down the middle is at 6 inches. So I forgot to mention that. So, and then you fold this flap this way, and this flap comes through like that. And then it probably makes sense to do it now is to just cut a tiny little corner, like a little diagonal line from each of the 2 pieces that hit the middle, so they don't crash into anything. Just angle it a touch, and the same with this one. Right, so that's the first piece. Oh no, sorry, not that way. That piece goes that way, then it folds over, and that piece goes down that way. So that's the first one. And then you've got these other two pieces, and they both need scoring. Now I've changed mine a little bit from the way Sandy does hers. I will link her video as well, so you can watch how she makes hers. And she actually does a previous video where she shows you exactly, she actually shows you the project and what she puts in it. But I will link the one where she actually makes it. So what you want to do is choose the paper you want to wrap around. So this is going to wrap around the front and then around the back to make a pocket. And I'm going to score mine. So I'm scoring it so that it can be folded round at 2 3/4, this one. So this is the front one. Going to be scored at 2 3/4. And then the second one, so you've got to decide again. You can either have it like that. That might work actually. Have it like that, because no, it's not going to be right up to the flap. It's going to be like that. So you can either do it like that or like that. I think I might do it that way, so the green shows in the background. Yes, I'm going to do it that way. So this one will then get scored at 2 1/4 inches. The only difference is that Sandy does both of hers the same. She does them both at 2 1/4. But I wanted my front one just to tuck under the flap rather than there to be a gap. But it's personal choice. I will need that again in a moment, but I'm going to just pop it out of the way for now. So yes, this is going to go this way. And that will tuck in here. And the other one, right, hold it that way, so it's a deeper pocket here. And that's going to tuck in that way. Oop. Okay. Make sure they're both. So that will go like that. And now the only problem is going to be that as you fold them in, these two pieces, because they're exactly the same, they're just going to catch on the edge here as you fold it. So we need to just trim both of these pieces just a smidge. I'm going to do them on my... Do I need to do them on the big... No, I don't. No, I can do it on these. On this one. Right, so this one... Doesn't really matter which side you trim it on. I'm going to trim it, and it is literally just a smidgen, probably a 1/16 of an inch or something. And the same with this one. Just to make sure it doesn't crash into the middle fold. Right. Okay, so we've got those. We've got we've now got the bones of the pocket. So the next thing I do, and I do mine in a slightly different order to Sandy, so it doesn't really matter, but we get the same result in the end. So the next thing I would do, let me see what I wrote down. I wrote it as I was going. So the next thing I did was to do my thumb notches. So I want a thumb notch here. Did I do one? Yes, I did. One here, one on the inside. I don't do one here, but you can. And then I do another one on the back. So I'm going to do one on both of these. If I do them at the same time, because this one, the other one, I did one differently at a different time. Didn't do it at the beginning, and of course they didn't really line up. Not that it really notices, but it's always nice to have it looking a little bit like you intended. Now I make this one a little bit shallower than the other one. Just trying to see where the middle is. And then I can line this one up as well. Make sure it's at least lined up, even if they're not entirely central. Let's just get rid of that annoying bit. I can line that up. Okay, that's that one. And then I'm not going to do this one, but I am going to do the back one. I suppose no, it's not quite central. It's close enough. Right, at this point is a good time to ink if you're going to ink. I wasn't going to, but I can't help myself, so I will ink quickly off camera and then I'll be right. Okay, I'm back. I've now inked around everything. I realised I should have done the corner rounding before I started inking, but I'll just re-ink them. But while I was inking, I also realised, because as you do, ink and think, and I was thinking, and I realised I hadn't actually shown you what paper pad this particular piece of paper comes from. And it is from this Flower Alphabet pad that we used in a previous project, where I made the little fold-out thing that I've made before. So this is the pad that this paper comes from. It's a really pretty pad. There was another one that I nearly used, because this would have been really suitable because it's actually got more decoration on the front, and I think it would have worked beautifully. But it was a little bit too pink for me on the other side. I'm sorry, I'm not really big into using lots of pink. I like pink, but I thought it might have been a bit too much, and I preferred the green on the background of this one. So I decided I would stick with this one. So yes, what I wanted to do as well was to round the corners, and it's only the corners of the flaps that I want to round. So it's actually the corners of the flaps on the main part of the, I think it's like a double envelope is what she's called it. No, I want that side. I want the bigger the bigger corner. So I'll just quickly punch those. Now, if I don't get it in exactly the right way round, it doesn't do it. No. Do it that way. Got to get the angle perfect. No, I don't think that was right. Oh, maybe it was. Doesn't feel quite right. Let me just have another go. That's better. I made the mistake when I was making the first one, and I actually cornered the top of one of the pockets, which I hadn't intended to do, but I got a bit confused. It's not hard for me to get confused with these things. Right, so this is the back, this is the front. So I think, oh yeah, I just need to re-ink those corners, don't I? Yep. That one. That one. Oops. sure they're inked from both sides, just to make sure all looks the same. Right, now we can start gluing. So this one goes this way. So we start with the inside one, and I'll explain why in a minute, because we have another little thing we have to do before we glue in the outer one, because we've got to make the gusset, which we haven't done yet. So I'm just going to hope that the art glitter glue is working, because it worked very well this morning. Must be the warm weather, it's helping it to flow a bit. We've been getting red alerts. I don't know if that's something that you get wherever you are, but we've had, it's the first time we've ever had a red weather alert for hot temperatures, because they're talking about hitting temperatures of possibly 40 degrees, which this country has never experienced before. I know in other countries you definitely have, but it's new for us, and there's all sorts of dire warnings, so don't go out, stay indoors, keep hydrated. So that's what I will do. I never go out if I don't have to in the hot weather, or the cold weather, or the in-betweeny weather. I'm a bit of an indoor girl, me. Although I doubt if I'll be in my craft room either. I think it's going to be too hot even for crafting. But I think by the time this comes out, this video, that heat wave will have subsided somewhat, and I'll be able to get back to doing what I do. Right, so this one we're going to make a little gusset for the pocket, and I've got a couple of pieces of paper ready, and I'll tell you what size they need to be. So I've got these two little pieces of paper. These are from a different pad, but as you can see, with so many of these Stamperia paper pads, they all coordinate with each other. I've got all my little scrappy bits, all my scraps from all the pads that I use, all in one bag, and they all just interchange. You can use a bit from most of them. Will at some point, somewhere along the line, will coordinate with each other, which is quite handy. So I've got these two pieces of paper, the same size, and they are 2 inches across, and they need to be the same height as your pocket. So whatever size pocket you do, wherever you want that to end up, is the height you need to make this. So mine is 2 across and 2 3/4 down. When Sandy made hers, she made hers 2 by 2 1/4, because that's how high her pocket is. So, and because my paper is a bit thicker than what she used, she only used single-sided, she was able to just fold hers and that wasn't a problem. But because mine is double-sided and a bit thicker, I'm going to actually score them to make it easier to fold. And I'm going to score them at 2 inches and then half each side. So score down the middle. So she folded down the middle, and then you fold it back again. And so I'm scoring at 1/2 inch and at 1 1/2. I'll do the same with the other one. Down the middle, and the middle of the middle, the middle of the left side, and the middle of the right side. So 1/2 inch each side as well. And that's the scoring finished now. So take my first piece. You can use either side. That's just that I thought I'd use. I'm going to have this side on the outside. So whatever side you want to be on the outside, you fold that in. For some reason, mine hasn't gone in the middle. So I'm just going to trim it. I'm not going to worry. Or maybe I'll just try folding it back first. And then each side you fold it back on itself to make a little concertina. So we'll see how that looks. It's a little bit wide there, so I'm just going to trim it. I'm not going to worry about it. Don't know why that happened. It happened last time as well. I think it must be my scoreboard must be a little bit weird. Or maybe it's just me, the way I use it. Just going to rub these down. That's one. And the same again. Fold it in. And fold it back. On either side. I suppose if you had a 12 by 12 paper pad and the coordinating 6x6 paper pad, you could easily just use 2 of the 6x6s and half of a single sheet of 12 by 12 and then make another one with the other half of the 12 by 12 and 2 more sheets from the 6x6. They all go together, that would be fine. A bit like I've done with the other one, except that the 6x6 was incorporated in the 12 by 12 pad. Right, so what you're going to do now is pop that in here. So pop these both into the pocket. So stick that one on. Hold that down. I know there's a little bit poking out the top, which is exactly what happened when Sandy made hers, so I'm fine with that. And the same on the other side. Although funny enough, when I made the other one it didn't happen. So I don't know what I did differently on that one. Okay, and then we stick that one on here. Oops. I think I'll just stick it like that. Make sure it's right up to the edge. Now, why won't this one go where I want it to go? It keeps moving. Not straight. I think it's in position. Let's have a look. Yeah, now it is. Okay. So just push that down. And clip the little bits off the top that are sticking out. Quite thick, so a bit tricky. Okay. Remember to do this if you've got bits that poke out. Remember to do this bit before you stick down the other half, stick it down to the back, otherwise it'll be much more difficult. Okay. You need a good strong glue for this. I wouldn't necessarily, if you're using thick paper like this, I wouldn't think that glue stick would work so well. Almost any wet glue would probably be fine, I would think. Not that I have much experience of other wet glues apart from this one and Fabri-Tac, but both of them, these would be fine. So that looks really pretty. When the flap's up, you see, you get all the pretty flowers on the inside. Okay. Oops, just the one flap, please. That's that one. Open that up, and we'll do the other half. Oh, I forgot to ink a bit. I do like the creases inked. I don't know what it is. I don't always feel the need to ink, but I do like the look. I like the way it just finishes the edges off and, you know, just goes around the pocket. But it's definitely optional, and it depends what kind of style of paper you're using and things and what you like to do. And I would never have thought I'd have been an inker, really, but it's something I really do like to do. Right, so there we go. Just pop that there. Make sure it's lined up. And then I'm going to glue this one in. So I hope I'm on screen. It's not always easy to tell when it's a bit close to me. Alright. Right. Give that a little rub. So it goes like that. Turn it over and we ink the back. Not ink the back, glue the back. It's a shame to lose this bit, but can't keep all the pretty stuff. That's the only thing, when the papers are pretty both sides, which so many of these Stamperia papers are, you always lose some of that prettiness when you do this kind of thing. Alright, yeah. I might just open that out and make sure it's on properly. Now, so that's pretty much it made. Oh, I've just spotted another bit I forgot to ink. Shocking. Okay. Right, so a couple more things to do. I want to make my little closure, and I'm going to do it in a similar way to the way Sandy made it, because I quite liked what she did. No, that wasn't quite big enough. I did have a little piece. So I took this little piece here, but actually I'm wondering whether I'd prefer it the other way around. Like that. Ooh, no, it's got an insect on the other side. Shall I see if I can find a piece that hasn't got an insect on the other side? Because I didn't realise the green would be a bit too close to the other green. So I've just got to find myself a piece. See if this piece will be big enough. Right, cut that bit off. So I really just don't like them. I'm not scared of them, I just don't want them on my project. And I say I'm not scared of them. Depends how big they got. If I met him somewhere at night, I'm not sure I'd be very happy. Right. So I'll fold that in half. This might be a little bit wide. Let's have a look. I don't know if I need it to be quite as big as that. No, I don't. So I'm going to cut that down a bit. Same sort of size to the one I made before, really. Almost exactly the same size, in fact. And I want to round these bottom corners. Maybe not quite as big as that, but I'm going to do it on that one. Ink around it a little bit. So I don't mind a ladybird, so I'm going to pop her on the front there, I think, just like that. That can be a bit, no, I quite like that. Right, glue, glue, glue. Where'd it gone? There it is. Right. Put that in the middle. There. I'm going to let that dry for a minute and then we'll come back and do the closure. So inside, I'll leave that up like that. So we've got our pocket here, a nice deep gusseted pocket, if you can see. It's lovely, it's got so much space in there. And then inside, we have another nice big pocket here. Now this one here, the one that Sandy made, I think she put a little, I think I mentioned it, put a little library card type pocket here, or something, that's what she called it. And on mine, I did a little corner tuck, like that. But on this one I had another idea. I fancy putting in a little envelope. I'm hoping it'll fit, just. You go there or there, but I think it would be nice just there, just slightly to the side. And again, this paper is from another, I think this is from the Dream Kit, paper pad. And I just made the envelope. Originally I made one, I'll show you the one I thought was going to go on it. What did I do with it? Look, the way you always lose something, don't you, when you're making these things. I thought I had everything here together. And then, oh no, I think I put it over here, that's right. Okay, so originally I used the same piece of paper but the other way round. So this pink that I've now got on the outside was on the inside, and I used my envelope punch board to make the smallest envelope they do, and it was still too big. So I thought, well, maybe I'll still use it, but pop it into a pocket, maybe even into that pocket. So that will possibly need a closure. I think I've got an idea for closure. I've got something put by to do a closure for that one. We'll come back to that. So I ended up just taking a piece of paper. This is the bit I cut off, literally a strip of paper. If folded down the top, folded up the bottom. There's your envelope. I'm sure everybody who's watching has done these before. I actually haven't made many like this before myself. Certainly no small ones like this. Then I just rounded the flap, and because it's the Flower Alphabet pad, and there happened to be, this particular letter was just already cut off, I don't know why. So I thought, well, I have to use it really, don't I? It's my letter. And it's really pretty, and it goes with the pad. It's from the pad. So that's popped in there, and you can write on the back. It's got a sort of turquoisey plate, but it's just plain on the back. So that will be fine. And then this piece here says be positive, and it was just another little die cut or cut apart from the dream pack, because there was a whole page of all these little phrases and words. So I popped that on there as the closure, and then I'm just going to stick it straight on there like that. Right, that's ready to be popped on there. So it just fits, and I just held it over the pocket and roughly folded it to size in the hope that it would fit, and it does seem to. There's any number of things you could do here. You could probably put pockets on probably put something here if you wanted to, but there's always the danger it's going to get over bulky, and if you're going to... Right, well that was annoying. My battery died just when I was mid-flow. So yeah, I've just stuck that down. That should all be ready now and dry. I think I'm going to have to get another... I think I've got a spare battery knocking around that I'll have to get charged up. I have two batteries that I swap over, but usually they each last at least a whole one video, but that one hasn't even managed that, so I think I might have to ditch that one and get a new one charged up. Okay, so now we need to do our closure, and it's quite simple. I mean, there's all sorts of things you can do, but I like the way Sandy did this one, so I'm going to do it the same as I did with my other one. So you need to make a hole on the larger setting. Just make sure I get it in the middle. More or less. Oops. And then I need an eyelet. A little box of eyelets here. Try and open it the wrong side. That's not going to work, is it? Now, do I want a pink one? Just grab my tweezers because they're hard to get hold of sometimes. Let's see. I've got some pink ones here. Pink? Oh yes, I think so. Don't get to use those very often, so that's quite nice. I've got it lined up. Not sure I have. Oh yeah, maybe I have. No, it doesn't feel right. What's going on here? Oops. I think I need to start again. I think it got a bit... Just need to get another one out. I hadn't lined it up properly and tried to fix it, but it wasn't quite aligned, so it wouldn't go down properly. I'll just get another one out. It's not as if I don't have plenty, and I don't use these ones very often. So it's nice to be able to use them. Yeah. And yeah, I can pick it up. Right, let's try again. Get in the hole, that's it. Now make sure you line it up properly this time. That's better. Okay. Oh, I did exactly what I told myself last time I mustn't do. Oh no, that's alright. I have done it right. I thought I'd put it on back to front, but no, it is the right way round because it's the side where the ladybird is, and that's on the front, so that's okay. I went through exactly the same thought process last time when I did the other one. I thought I'd put it on back to front, and then no, I hadn't. Put it on the right way, I just had turned it over. Got myself confused, so there we are. So I'm going to put some baker's twine on this one because the sari silk is a bit thick really. I thought the baker's twine might look better. So that goes that way, that goes that way. It's just a case of which colour. So I've got the dark green, which is quite nice actually. I've got a light green, which doesn't really work with the green flap, so that's gone. And I had pink. I like the dark green, which is handy because I've got more of that. So I'm just going to, we got far too much, but never mind. I can always use some on a tag or something. Now this one I think I'm going to do it slightly different to the first one. Use me tweezers to poke it through. Oop, come out. That's it. And then we'll wrap it around. Ooh, no, it's not long enough, is it? Well, it is just about. Might have to tie something to it to make it hold. There we are. Just about closed. There we go. Teach me not to measure it, won't it? Okay, so that's that made. I think all we have to do now is maybe do a little bit of decoration. We have a little bit of time, and I've forgotten to put my timer back on. Oh well. Okay, so I might want to put a little something across the top here. Let's say we put a little bit of lace. Wouldn't that be a big surprise? I think I might use some white for a change. I don't very often get my white ones out, and I have quite a few. So what shall we use? Don't want it too big. What about that one? Got a couple of possibles here. This one might work. It's got a nice little scallop. Yeah. Okay. because it's only lace that I'm going to use. It's quite thin lace. I'm going to use the art glitter glue. If it was crochet lace, I'd use something thicker. I'd use the Fabri-Tac because it's thicker. Let's try that. I want it right on the edge. And this bit keeps moving on me. Gotcha. Let's trim that bit off. Alright, and some decorative bits and pieces here. And some scraps and things. And maybe some bits we can use to put in the pockets. That's a bit big. Thinking about that label. Let's see what we can put in our big pocket. Got that card, although I would prefer to have one that's the right way round. Shall I put another one? What's this one? Oh, that's better. That actually matches that comes from the kit, so that goes in. All I'm going to do with that one is round the corners. Right. Let's hope it goes in. So I didn't even check it, did I? And it actually went in the pocket. Oh, it's a little bit wide. Let's trim it a touch. A little bit each side, and hopefully that'll work. That was foolish, wasn't it? I just assumed, I don't know why, that it would go in. Check it. Oh, it's still a little bit on the tight side. It will go in. Just about. I'm just going to trim it. Just another smidge. It's a bit annoying. It's been a silly fault, of course, for not checking. Put that there. That's better. Okay. Get these couple of bits out of the way. And I have to do the corners again. Oh, that's nice. I might put it down that way round. Perhaps I put it in that way. Get more of a contrast then. Go in, go in, go in. Okay, postcard is in. That's rather nice. Okay, liking that. I haven't really got time to do a lot more decorating now, but you can see you can just use scraps from the kit. I've got various tags that I've made. I'm going to pop this in, and I have got my little closure ready, because it's got quite a low, the way it cuts on the envelope board, you end up with quite a long pointy flap. You could easily obviously cut that off a bit, but I thought, well, I'd make for a change. I'd use that. Just says believe you can. There's another one of these phrases from the Dream paper pad, and just glue it at the sides. And this one just says believe you can. Okay, where the other thing go? And then that will just pull out. Whoops, came undone. And you can just pop that in there. Doesn't want to glue. Like that. Put this one in here like that. And what can we put in the back pocket? Well, I've got a big card like that. I've got this one, which is in French, and I'm not going to try and say it. Is that big? Is that going to fit? Yeah, just about. I mean, you could pop any number of things in there, really. Another little tag here. Just pop that in there. And there's another tag. Haven't cut out yet. But I think you get the idea. More decorating that can be done, but I haven't really got time to do that in this video. I might redo the closure, or I might stick something on the bottom to make it hang down and be a bit more weighty. We'll see. We'll give that a try. But I think for today that's probably enough, because otherwise we're going to go way over time as usual. So there we are. Let's get this out of the way. This is the double pocket folder, double pocket style folder, something like that. So this was my original one, which is super stuffed. You can see how far it will go. Look how much higher it sits, this one, because it's got much more in it than this one has, but there's more. I just haven't got a lot more to put in yet, but I will if I ever use it for anything. It's the sort of thing you could do in Happy Mail, or you could have it as an accompaniment to a journal and pop all the extra ephemera bits in to go with the journal, which would be quite a nice idea. So thank you very much for joining me today, and please do join me again soon. Bye for now.